So now that Halloween Kills has been released, it is time for the Halloween guy to do a Halloween franchise re-ranking, including Halloween Kills.
The boogeyman is coming!
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm coming at you tonight to give you a Halloween franchise re-ranking. Now, this is pretty common for everybody right now doing these types of ranking videos because we just got a new addition to the franchise, so it's time to look at the franchise as a whole again and re-rank it. If you guys are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button right there. I'd greatly appreciate it. Leave a like on this video and leave a comment and let me know what your Halloween franchise re-ranking is with the release of Halloween Kills. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Coming in at last place, to nobody's surprise, is Halloween Resurrection. Now, I could be really cruel to this movie and I could really tear it apart. I could really tell you that it is garbage and that I hate it. But upon doing our rewatch on the You Need a Horror podcast, I don't hate this movie. I don't know what it is. It's so dumb and so bad that I can just laugh and just watch it. I won't find myself watching it much, if at all. But I don't hate the movie. But it is a bad movie. And for that reason, not just a bad Halloween movie, it's a bad movie. So for that reason, to no surprise, Halloween Resurrection has to rank in at number 12 as my least favorite film in the Halloween franchise. So coming in at number 11, to probably a lot of people's surprise, is Halloween H2O. Now, I will say from the top that this is probably the best Laurie Strode performance that you get in the entire franchise up to this point. And there is some really cool things about this movie. I don't hate this movie. However, this movie feels like it's trapped in the time that it came out. It's very dated and it feels very much like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and not like Halloween. And that's the biggest knock for me on the movie. It is not a bad movie. It's well made, it's well acted. There are just things, the mask fiascos, the score, just the incessant need to rely too heavily on 90s horror tropes, the very short runtime, the fake out ending. There's just a lot about H2O that just doesn't feel like it belongs too high on my list. And one of the biggest things is the lack of feeling like fall. It doesn't feel like fall. I know it takes place in California. I know why. Narratively, it makes sense. However, I just don't have a deep love for this film. As the years have gone on, it's waned a little bit for me, and it comes in at number 11 on my list. So coming in at number 10 is going to be Rob Zombie's Halloween, the 2007 remake of John Carpenter's classic. This was the first Halloween film I saw in theaters, and I had a great time with it. I loved the movie when I saw it in theaters. I walked out and I said that was amazing. That was right after I had started collecting the Halloween franchise, so I was eagerly awaiting this movie. As the years have gone on, it has really, really gone down for me. I don't care for the childhood story of Michael Myers at all. Some of the dialogue is absolutely cringy and just painful to listen to, and the scenes are painful to watch play out on screen. I don't like some of what Rob Zombie forces into the movie. Having said that, the second half of the movie is the saving grace. I really enjoy Scout Taylor Compton, Danielle Harris. Tyler Mane is a fantastic Michael Myers. There's some great kills. There's some great fall atmosphere. It's directed really well. Having said that, though, it's just not one of my favorites. There's just a lot about the movie that I can't get past in the first half. But it is a solid remake, and I do enjoy it enough. But Rob Zombie's Halloween is going to come in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is going to be another one that probably surprises some people, and that is going to be 1981's Halloween 2. Now, hold up. Before y'all come at me, I do love this movie. I would say from this point on, these are all movies that I love. I would say Rob Zombie's Halloween falls in there too, but these are movies that I love. It gets very hard once you start going on in these rankings to decide where to put some of them. For Halloween 2, it just feels to me like it feels like a great continuation of the first movie, but tonally it's just so different that at the same time it's hard to really get the feeling that it's the same night. It's, the same Myers. On top of that, they completely waste Laurie Strode in this movie and just put her in a bed, medicated until the last 15 minutes of the movie with a terrible wig. These are nitpicks, although underutilizing Jamie Lee Curtis is not a nitpick. Dick Warlock is great. The score with Alan Howarth is fantastic. I love the 80s synth score. Some of the kills are fantastic. And quite frankly, I think the atmosphere is great as well. But there are just tonal shifts in this movie that I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a fan of not having a lot of Jamie Lee in this movie since it should have been her movie as well. And I just feel like there are some story choices that, for better or worse, I may not have gone with. So coming in at number 9 is 1981's Halloween. This is where the list changes up from my previous rankings, and I think people are going to be surprised about this. Coming in at number 8 is going to be Halloween 2018. Now, let me just say right off the top, technically speaking, this is probably one of the best made movies in this franchise. It is a great return to form for Michael Myers. Jamie Lee Curtis does a great job, though I don't think it's as believable as Halloween H2O, because you removed Halloween 2 from that entirely and the brother-sister angle. There's a lot about this movie that works. However, there's a lot that doesn't work too. There's some forced comedy. There's some subpar acting by some of the teenage actors. There is an incessant need to rely on the Laurie Strode, Michael Myers dynamic when this movie was pitched as being different. They are not related anymore. It's not about Laurie. Michael is a soulless killing machine. But at the end of the movie, he ends up there anyway. I know how, I know why. I'm not complaining necessarily about that, but I'm just saying that when I walked out of Halloween 2018, I don't know what I was expecting. I was bummed when I first saw it. When upon more watches, I enjoyed it more. I got it on home media, physical media, whatever you want to call it. And as I've watched it more, it has gone down a little bit for me because I just don't get the same feeling and the same vibe that I get with some of these other Halloween movies that I love so much. So although it is an incredibly well-made movie and it is a great return to form for Michael Myers, personally, Halloween 2018 is going to rank in at number 8 for me. Coming in at number 7 is going to be, this is hard, but as of right now, although I think this is on the fringe with number 6, these will probably go back and forth. As of this moment, number 7, Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. The theatrical cut is the edition I prefer, so that's the one we're going to talk about. I will say if I put the producer's cut in here, it would be near the back. I don't care for the producer's cut, just my opinion. I love Halloween 6. I do. Michael Myers is evil as hell in this movie. I love the music, the soundtrack, and Full Shine On. It's just a great track from the 90s. I love the blue hues, especially on here. I really like Marion Hagen as Kara Strode. I really, really, really like Bradford English as John Strode. He's such a great douche, asshole dad type guy. And I think that this is probably one of the most, if not the most, October, fall, Halloween feeling movies in the franchise. Having said that, you cannot get past some of the disjointed issues with the story and the script, and just some of the story choices are very, very weird when you look into them. They really are. And I love it for what it is. Absolutely. I am not nitpicking it, but if I'm looking at this from an objective perspective, there are enough technical issues with this movie for me to not put it in my top 5 because some of those things do bother me. But again, these are minor gripes, guys, because at this point, these are all movies I love. And I will say Halloween 6 is the last Halloween film, still to this day, that truly has that late 80s feel to it and look to it. They have not been able to recapture it since this film. I love Halloween 6. When I first started collecting the series, this probably would have been my least favorite after Resurrection. This has gone up multiple spots. I really, really love this movie, and I love that damn poster. Michael Myers is mean as hell in this. This is going to be polarizing. Coming in at number 6 is a movie that I do not own yet because I can't, but the poster is right there, and that is Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills comes in at number 6 for me as of right now, although I think it after a little bit, it's probably going to go to 7, and Halloween 6 will probably take the 6th spot, so calm down, guys. But as of right now, it's number 6. I've seen the movie 3 times at this point. I've enjoyed it more with each rewatch. I think that it is just so much fun. I knew what it was going to be going into it, and I wasn't disappointed. I knew this was going to be about the kills. This was going to be Karen's movie. This was going to be scored beautifully. It was going to be shot well. It was going to have a great atmosphere, a great vibe. I didn't know that they were going to improve upon some things in 2018. Like, I actually like Cameron in this movie. Michael is way better in this movie. Allison is way better in this movie. Laurie Strode isn't overused to the point where you feel like, oh my God, we've seen this a million times. Hawkins is fantastic in the movie. I can't wait to see what they do with him in Ends. They improved upon some characters that were lackluster in the previous film. The kills were better. Michael was better. And I think that the aesthetic and the atmosphere was better. Now, having said that, there are a lot of issues with the dialogue. Some of the writing is just piss poor. Some of the corny, campy, over the top. It's really just about the mob, guys. Like, without all that, the hospital stuff with the mob and everything like that, this would be a lot better of a movie. But that second act really does drag it down, so it's not in the top 5. But coming in at number 6, as of this moment, is Halloween Kills. Top 5. What comes in at number 5? Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Now, I think my top 5, at the beginning of it's not going to be polarizing. The end of it's going to be very polarizing. Let me say again to everybody, these are all our opinions. We love these movies, we appreciate them, and we should all respect each other's opinions. So don't come crazy at me when you see some of the movies that are coming. But coming in at number 5 is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. And what a great way to bring back Michael Myers. First and foremost, from the opening credits, it's October, baby. It's fall. You feel it. You just are immersed in it. You love it. I loved it. Donald Pleasance is fantastic in the movie. Danielle Harris, what a performance for a child actor. I mean, she was great. Ellie Cornell is great. George P. Wilbur is great as Michael Myers, although the mask does suck. But George P. Wilbur is fantastic as Michael Myers. Bo Starr as Sheriff Meeker. Gotta give it up. I like him better than Brackett. He's my favorite sheriff. My second favorite sheriff in the Halloween franchise. He does a fantastic job. The direction of this movie, the twist ending, the cold autumn feel and look and atmosphere is on point. There's not a lot about this movie that you can really complain about. The movie, technically speaking, looks great. It sounds great. It's acted well. And it was a very, very, welcome return and worthy return for the character of Michael Myers. So yeah, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. And as I said 12 years ago when I did a review for this movie, it is a Halloween movie, even though it doesn't have Michael Myers. So get off it already. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch is a beautiful 80s sci-fi horror movie. It is beautiful. It captures so much of the 80s and so much of what made the 80s great, but it gets so much hate because it has Halloween 3 in the title. Dan O'Herlihy as Connell Cochran is fantastic. You get the mustache, Tom Atkins. He's great. Stacey Nelkin is great in this movie. Tommy Lee Wallace directs the absolute crap out of this thing. It looks fantastic. It is scored magnificently. Magnificent score. It is very mean. The core of the story is mean. The ending is mean. It's just mean. But that's what makes it so good. I think Halloween 3 is truly a cult classic horror movie that I'm glad is getting the love that it rightfully deserves. I think this movie is fantastic, and I'm putting Halloween 3 at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Yes, I know. Oh my God, this guy's crazy. You're new to the channel, you see this, you're like, what? Hear me out here, okay, guys? One of the first, if not the first Halloween movie I ever saw when I was a child. So I have a deep-rooted love for the movie no matter what. If I'm being fair, when I was talking about being objective and looking at flaws in these movies, there are a lot of flaws in this movie. You will never hear me say there aren't. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. So that's a big reason why it's ranked so high. But also, there's a lot that is really good about this movie. Don Shanks is a very mean Michael Myers, and I do like him in the role. I think Danielle Harris is better in this film because half of the film she is tasked with acting with her body language and mannerisms, not words. And for a 12-year-old girl to pull that off, having very little film experience, I think is super impressive. I love Psycho Loomis, as people call him, because at this point, wouldn't you be too? It's like, this dude's unkillable. He keeps coming back and killing people. And it's like, all you want to do is have a glass of whiskey and like smoke a cigar and listen to like old time radio. And Michael Myers keeps coming to Haddonfield to slaughter people. And you're just like, dude, come on. So I don't mind that. I like the themes in this movie. I do like the music. The opening credits are great. There's some really good kills in this movie. I think that there's some beautifully shot sequences in the movie. The hospital stuff with Jamie when they think she's like, dying and she can't breathe. The barn scene, the car chase scene. There's some really good directing in this movie. There really, really is. And I think it doesn't get the credit it deserves for that. I think this is a really good movie. I really do. I love Halloween 5. I always have. I always will. No one's going to be able to change my mind on that. The clown cops are stupid. Yes. Some of the decisions to change certain things is dumb. Yes, I get it. But I'll be damned. I'll be damned if I don't love Halloween 5. So the most polarizing opinion of all is going to be number 2, which is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And that is the theatrical version, not the director's cut. I cannot tell you what it was like to see this movie in theaters and the impact it had on me. The character studies that this movie really delves into and really focuses on Laurie and Annie's progression in, from what happened to them in the first movie is done beautifully. The way they handle PTSD and trauma is just, it's incredible. I think they do a magnificent job with it. Brad Dourif is Sheriff Brackett in this movie and in the previous one. He's my favorite sheriff in the Halloween franchise. Brad is that good, and he is damn good in this movie. There are multiple scenes in this movie that will tug at your heartstrings, that will mess you up emotionally because of how they're directed, how they're acted, and how they're set up, and how you've been invested in some of these characters for 2 movies now and wanted them to survive and wanted the best for them. But it just doesn't happen. It's shot on 16 millimeter, grainy, classic look. I love it. Brandon Trost, as the cinematographer, did a fantastic job. The just magnificent blue lights through the woods when Laurie's running. And it just looks amazing. The sound design is great. Tyler Mane is a beast as Michael Myers. And one of the reasons I love this movie so much is because somebody took a 30-plus-year-old property at that time and gave us an incredibly unique, fresh take on the character. And I'm sorry, when you're the 10th movie in a franchise and you can do that 30 plus years later, you have to commend him for that. Whether you like it or not, he gave you something you hadn't seen before. And it jived with me. I liked it. So, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is my number 2. Let the hate begin. To nobody's surprise, number 1 is John Carpenter's classic, Halloween. I don't need to say much about this movie that hasn't already been said. It is the granddaddy. You could say this is the granddaddy or Psycho or Black Christmas, but there's only a few you could say. And this was right there. So I call this one the granddaddy. It gave you Freddy. It gave you Jason. It gave you so many of the horror icons that you love today are only here because of Halloween, are only here because of Michael Myers. I think that's why it gets under some people's skin sometimes that aren't mainly Halloween fans. And I think that's why they give crap to Halloween fans a lot, because they know that he's the king. He may not be your favorite, but he's the king. He's the king. He's been here the longest. He's the reason. He's your dad. He is Freddy and Jason's dad. They were born from Michael Myers' seed. And I think the fans know that, and it bothers them. Whatever. This is just me running my mouth about the king, because he's the king. He came first. His remake came first. He's still around. We're waiting on the other 2. He's still around, and he's still doing incredibly well. So he's the king. I don't need to really elaborate any further on that. John Carpenter's Halloween is the number 1 film in the Halloween franchise. It is my favorite movie of all time, and I was going to say not just my favorite movie of a horror movie of all time, but it's my favorite movie of all time. And he's a damn king, baby. So just accept it. Just accept it. Move on. Move on. You know, move on. He's the king. So that is my re-ranking of the Halloween franchise with Halloween Kills included. Did you guys hate it? Let me know. Did you guys love it? Let me know. But either way, let me know in the comments below what your ranking is and what you think of mine. Please leave a like on this video, comment on it, subscribe, share it with your buddies, share it with your mom, your sister, your cousin, your uncle, share it with everybody. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Thank you for all the support, and go see Halloween Kills in theaters if you haven't already. And this is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, pulling out.